And welcome back to the Smooth Live Show with your host, Paul Toothpicks Curry. Before I introduce our artist, what I'd like to ask you to do is to jump on and subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the notification bell and keep up to date with, or stay up to date with what's going on. And also to be sure to check out my socials at Facebook and Instagram at SmoothJazz.Melbourne. Well, how excited am I for this Sunday morning to introduce Carol Albert. Welcome, Carol.
Thank you. Happy Sunday to you. I still haven't figured out the time difference, but anyway.
We're a few hours back.
Sunday is a good one, so.
Well, happy Saturday, and I'm enjoying that glass of red with you, hey?
Oh, okay.
Let me just say, jazz pianist and composer, top 20 Billboard artist, and Grammy consideration for best contemporary instrumental album for Stronger Now.
Uh-huh.
Congratulations, Carol.
Thank you. Well, it's the first round. The second round is the one that's the big one. So, that's the actual, they choose 5, nominations. So that's the big one. So keep your fingers crossed.
We are, and we're going to support you because we love your music. And
thank you.
Great supporter of your current album, obviously Stronger Now, and Fly Away Butterfly, which we've been playing over the last couple of years in our radio stations here at SmoothJazz.Melbourne and our Friday night shows. But as I said, thank you. Socials are there. Jump on and make sure that you find out a lot more about Carol's music, Carol Albert music as well. So you started, let me start off by saying you started to compose music in the 8th grade. I mean, wow, like that's a early start.
Well, I'll pick up on what I've said before. I was in the church. I was in church music, and I grew up playing in the church, and we did a lot of singing in the church, and I was the church organist. And so we would go to singing school. So I started composing with, because we would learn, they would encourage us to compose some gospel music. So that's why I started. And then, I sort of evolved into pop music, later on. So. Wow.
But what a great, catalog of music to obviously bring you to where you are today. All flavors, I call it flavors and styles, but it's amazing for you to be able to, construct and put all this together. I mean, without sort of taking away, the goodness of this interview. I mean, I love even the album Night Music, just the ballads and the standards, and you can articulate very beautifully on the piano. It's sensational. Really love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So early start. I believe that your grandmother was a great influence, or a very large influence of your music. Tell us a little bit about, your grandmother from that perspective.
Well, my grandmother played by ear. She did. She would listen to something and play it, but she. When I finally was able to take an old recording, it was just very rough, tape, but and I had it transcribed through a digital means, and just for myself. And in a lot of ways, what she played, I listened back to it, was kind of more like the New Orleans honky-tonk stuff. I mean, that was the style that, growing up in the South, Southern rural. But she could play anything by ear, and she taught me how to play. She had cancer and had to have her, at that time, they amputated her right arm. And so she taught me to play the right hand parts, and she would play the left hand parts. And she was just a great influence. She loved music. So it was just a love that she passed on to me.
Yeah. Wow. And from that moment on, music was was be all and end all. It was really part of your DNA.
Music has always been in my life. I can't ever remember a time that it's not been in my life. So I don't know what it's like to be without music.
Yeah, wow. Well, you speak through it's stories through music, yeah, which is amazing. And well, just look at there's a couple of albums. So I think the cello, right? The cello was what your first instrument you played with, you started with?
No, I started with the piano.
With piano, okay, wow.
Yeah, I don't play stringed instruments. I would like to. I love the cello. I love the violin, but I since we have synthesizers now, I use parts on and eventually try to get. I have not used a live violinist yet, but they have such great samples. I use those parts, from my synthesizer to my program.
What do you think of the journey or the difference between the early days of piano to what's available today electronically? I mean, obviously, it gives you so much more adaptability, but you've seen this change. What do you personally think about that?
I am really, really happy that I was able to learn on an acoustic piano. It gave me technique, and it gave me so much more practice, with music and understanding of music. I love the synthesizers too. I love where it can take you. If I had started on that, I may not have developed the technique that I was able to develop with just studying piano first. And, really going through, I did get a degree in music, a bachelor of music degree, and studied classical music. So I really was able to learn so much of the basics and the just so much more of the depth and, control of the piano that I think you cannot get on a electric or synthesizer or through electronics.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So, I mean, obviously it's evolved. And that degree, it just takes you to another level, obviously, in appreciation and your journey with your instrument, which is quite amazing. So really it's your DNA, Carol Albert.
I guess. I mean, I guess so. I don't know.
Smooth Live Show.
I tried to do different things and it never worked out. So I guess it is, it's my destiny.
Yeah, that's it. You try to, no, I agree with that one for sure. We've always tried to opt out to something different, but
I have, every musician has. It's like you end up invariably, it's like, I can't leave it.
So just do it. I want to, Carol, I want to encourage our viewers, if they're watching, just to say hi. And we've got a couple of people. If that's okay, we can bring them on screen.
Sure.
And we've just, so we've got Vilma Formosa says good morning. Says she's checking us out, which is fantastic. Great to see you, Vilma. And she's also, saying great program. So we really appreciate your feedback on that one. We've just started. Yeah. But in the show, we'd like to just, bring on and encourage our viewers to engage and, be part of the program whilst we're chatting with Carol. So Smooth Live Show with Carol Albert live, your pianist and composer. We're really excited to have you on the show, and thank you for your time. I want to talk about Stronger Now. So congratulations on the latest album.
Thank you.
And I just, when I was doing a little bit of research, Carol, I obviously, we read about different reviews and some messaging behind what each album's been, how it all came about. How about give us a little bit of an overview of Stronger Now?
Well,
forgive me if you've said it 100 times, but
it's almost impossible to talk about the present if you don't go back to the past. And so this album is a continuation on my life's journey. I did a couple of albums in the 90s. My first album was With Open Eyes. My second album was Tides of Change. I was going through, different things then. And, then I did some albums in between, just different things, Christmas album, piano albums. And then I did another Christmas album in 2015. When I worked on Fly Away Butterfly, I had gone through a personal tragedy in my life. And it was it was really a story of what I was going through of healing. And it was very, very centered around the blue butterfly, which was something that I had encountered in Costa Rica when I was going on a family trip and hiking and saw a blue butterfly. And it became a very, very spiritual journey for me. And so everything on Fly Away Butterfly was in that period of time of healing, and then kind of evolved into Stronger Now, because I felt like that I had evolved into a stronger person. And so the album takes through kind of my life phase of Stronger Now. And
there you have it.
I mean, it's pretty much just kind of, each titled song is a special meaning. And
for sure,
Perfect Sunday, which is my current single, is it was really about allowing myself to feel joy. And I mean, especially now, we've had so many things going on in our world, but yet we still have to find those moments of joy and being able to go outside and being able to have something to kind of make us feel a little bit alive again. And I think Perfect Sunday really kind of encompasses that. Stronger Now is a little bit more introspective. It was a little bit deeper. And Love Again is about just, just that, being able to love ourselves, being able to love, life and love other people and embrace that. And it just kind of went on like that.
Amazing. So 10 original songs?
10 original. I wrote all of the 10 songs on the album.
Unreal. How long did it take you to construct the album? Like
oh gosh, from beginning to end, it was probably a year and a half.
Wow. Okay. You co-produced with Paul Brown?
Paul Brown. Yeah, Paul Brown produced 5 of the songs, and then I produced 3 of the songs. And co-produced a couple with Lou Lang, and in California. We did it remotely, via the computer, and transferring files, sharing files, and so it was really, really an amazing journey. I mean, I had a response from someone that I really, really respect in the music world, says, wow, that was really an ambitious project. And I didn't start out with, it would have been overwhelming if I had said, okay, I'm going to do 10 songs. I'm going to do this. I'm going to use these players. It evolved. And Paul Brown was very encouraging. He's like, okay, let's just take it one thing at a time. And, we want to focus on doing the best we can with each song. So I really approached it that way. I did one song at a time, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that worked for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We'll hear shortly from Stronger Now, but I want to just jump into a few more of the tracks there, Carol. Femme Flight.
Yes.
Reagan Whiteside, Magdalena Shovankova, which are obviously in the charts, obviously budding musicians as well. How do you choose who plays on your music? I mean, is that something that you just know their style, so you'd like to have it as part of that construct? Or like, what's your thinking behind that?
Well,
and I do love the song Femme Flight. It's great.
Yeah. Femme Flight, originally I wanted, all female players. But it just didn't work out that way. Reagan Whiteside is a very dear friend of mine, her and her husband both. And Magdalena Chovankova, I had become good friends with. Her and her husband were traveling from Europe, and we met in Atlanta and became good friends. And so it just worked out that way. It's like, okay, I need a fabulous flute player. There's my friend Reagan. And I need a good saxophone player, fabulous saxophone player. And there's Magdalena. So we did the same thing. We did the share file, and it really worked out. I was just incredibly overjoyed with how it turned out.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And if I go back and look at your credits, and the amount of people that's involved in this album is quite astounding. You know,
It really is. A good friend of mine that I had met, Nathaniel Kearney, did the bass for that. He's in California. He has traveled and played with Dave Koz, and so I mean, I don't think I could have had better players on this album. I mean, there's not one single player. Their contribution is not outstanding.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I mean, the album's outstanding. What I love, I listen. Can I sort of share something about me, Carol? When I'm in the car or driving, I listen to Classic FM, which is a very, classical sound. I love classical music as well. Yeah. Moon on the Water. Tell me about Moon on the Water. Absolutely. Love it.
It's a piece that I wrote, a solo piano piece, and I wanted to write something that kind of just was a solo piano. Basically, it does have a few other parts to it, but basically to travel somewhere, and it just, I don't know where it came from. But I wanted to treat it more as a composition as opposed to more of a groove or a feel-good thing. Mm-hmm. And I went back to my classical background, and it's like I really want to make, some of these changes a little bit more along the classical lines. And I actually did, it's basically like a theme and variations. The theme is the first round, and then the second round is more of the variation, and then coming back into the last, round of the statement. And that kind of goes more back to my classical training. That was a lot of the things that I studied. And so it just evolved like that.
Carol, I know artists would challenge me on if I say this. So but would that be an area where you'd like to really toy with in the whole classical and the smooth being balancing act? Because like listening to Moon on the Water for me as exactly what you've described, but it's taking me on a journey, and I think is there a market for that out there for people? I mean, obviously there's me, SmoothJazz.Melbourne.
I mean, well, thank you. I'm glad I'm glad that, in a kind of a smooth jazz album that I had a moment to
wow.
The classical side and a solo piano. I compose music. I don't start out with a composition and say, it's just me. I mean, this is how I write. I want to write a composition. I don't start out and say, I want this to be, played on this station or that station, because I feel like it's more authentic. And so I'm going to keep composing, and whatever that is, it may or may not fit on a smooth jazz album. I might do a different album for grins. My dad sent me some music that he had found that his father wrote, and it's a 4-part harmony gospel tune. And he said, Carol, I know that your style is different than this, but do you think you could do something with this? So, I kind of have that. And he also, my dad loves like Southern, really going back to 2030s, like even maybe before that, 1900s waltzes. And he said, wow, listen to these waltzes. And he had a friend that had an entire collection of waltzes. And so, I might do something like that. I might take those waltzes and kind of play around with that. Who knows where to end up?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're a composer, so you could compose anything really, isn't it? Hey, Donna McClung.
Yes.
My beautiful sister-in-law. So proud of all she has accomplished. So,
hey, Donna.
Thank you for joining us today. That's great. Yeah, we're live in Melbourne and Atlanta, Georgia. So we're really excited about that. Can we play the song? Can we go to Stronger Now? Let's get that video up and check this one out here with Carol Albert live on the SmoothJazz.Melbourne. Really excited to have you. And here it is, Stronger Now from your current album. Lovely. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So the title, number one, first track off the album, Stronger Now, with Carol Albert.
And I just want to say something about that too, going back to Paul Brown. I had written that song just on the piano, and so I sent it to Paul. We were, just started to work together. And I said, Paul, I know this is not a smooth jazz song, but what do you think of it? And he said, I love it. He said, we can really do a lot with that. So he really kind of shaped the direction of the song. I mean, I composed it, but Lou Lang added some tracks, and Paul really kind of shaped the outcome as a producer on that. So I'm very grateful for all that he contributed, to the album and that song.
Absolutely. And can I say, Carol, who were some of your influences, musical influences when we're talking about?
Well, going back to the classical era, Bach was always my first love, and just loved the intricacies of Bach. But Beethoven, going back to the classics, Ravel, through all of the Prokofiev. But going into pop music, I sort of once I got my degree, it's like, I think I'm done with classical music and want to just do pop music, and just loved Elton John, always just my hero. And I went back and looked at that movie, and the more I listened to him, the more like, wow, how did he think of? Excuse me, how did he think of that? And I mean, just an amazing composer, player, just incredible. And of course, Billy Joel, and but Stevie Wonder,
Wow, absolutely. So just a comment from Alexa Mariah. She said that was beautiful. That Stronger Now was lovely. So thank you, Alexa, that's fantastic.
Thank you, Alexa.
Look, you were so effortless. You just going, playing away, and it's just really lovely, Carol. It's certainly
thank you.
Fantastic session. So let's just jump back a little bit around your association with Germany. Apparently, you were picked up a record label.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. How did that happen?
Well, on my first ventures into recording and, going through the searching for a label, trying to get a deal, back in the days of, I'm going to try to get a deal here. I went through a lot of avenues, a lot of searching, a lot of disappointments. But I landed in with this German company, Innovative Communications, out of Germany, and did my first two albums. The first album I worked here with Herb Avery and Bill DeLoach, and I had a studio at the time in Atlanta, and Love in Your Eyes. The second album I recorded in Atlanta, and at the time I was a Baldwin artist, and actually I had mentioned to someone else, the Baldwin Piano Company, because I was an artist, brought in a 9-foot Baldwin into the studio I was sharing with Ken Gregory and Herb Avery and some other, fabulous musicians. And they let me record on this for free. They just came in and let me use it. And so my second album, Tides of Change, I used that 9-foot Baldwin piano, and then I actually mixed it in Germany. But I was thinking today, I traveled in Europe. I was hired to travel and play and go to different cities and perform. And of course, we talked earlier before we came on live, talked about the COVID thing, the lockdown. Yeah. And today, I don't know, it was a beautiful day in Atlanta. I was thinking, you know what? I really miss traveling. I miss doing that. And I think those were some. I went to Europe. I I don't know how many times, but I played in Sweden, 3 tours in Sweden. Then I went to Germany on one tour, and then I played on a ship, a cruise ship
Yep.
out of France. And
Wow.
I don't know, those were some of the best times of my life. I mean,
Right.
of course, I have highlights personally in my life, but just professionally, of just the excitement of meeting people, kind of, would always meet other musicians, and you would talk about music, and you might play together. I mean, that was really just it gets my blood pressure up right now, because it was such an exciting time for me, and it was really a period that I'm really glad and happy I was able to have in my life, because sitting locked down for 6 months, you're kind of like, okay,
Enough's enough.
yeah, I mean, I want to travel. I want to go. I want to get, be on stage. I want to meet some other musicians. It doesn't have to be
Absolutely.
a stage. It can just
Yeah.
be doing something,
Absolutely.
I want to go to Australia, come to Melbourne and meet you guys. And,
Come on down.
so it's
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, look, COVID, the 6 months, you appreciate your past experiences.
yes,
'Cause
absolutely.
you think about them and you acknowledge that. But talking about the festivals that you were doing around Europe, let's jump on that quickly. Elkhart Jazz Festival coming up in Elkhart, Indiana. That's coming up, I think, next year. Yeah, later
Yes,
next
coming
year.
up in 2021. We were going to do that 2020, and of course that
Being
was
pushed back.
postponed for a year. And actually, this month in a couple of weeks, I was going to be at Catalina Jazz Tracks, and of course
Yes.
that's postponed until next fall. And so I'm really looking forward. I was really looking forward to that. I was looking forward to both of those shows.
I can imagine.
And I had some other things, that were possibilities too, that I was looking forward to. And, I think it's just live performing. I mean, you start to yearn for some, some feedback, some like, this is what it's like to be a musician, to perform. And, you just start to be like an addict, like I'm craving that. I got to get back out.
Well, that's it. And isn't that the balance though, Carol? I mean, you're not just you're studio artist, but you're live performance, and that's part of that DNA. So you need to have that right balance,
Right.
out there. Can I ask, Carol, what would be your most revered festival that you've played at? I mean, is Europe, is that really what you love? Where's the best performance you've done, do you think, in your eyes?
That's really, I mean, every performance has something unique about it. I mean,
Is there a one that stands out?
gosh, I wish I could say yes, but I mean, it's like having children. You can't pick favorites. I mean, every festival has been very unique. I mean, every performance situation has been unique. I loved playing at the Smith Center in Vegas, and I did that in 2019. That was an incredible venue. It was a credible theater stage, and it was everything was state of the art. It was an incredible opportunity. But then, some of the other festivals I've done have been equally rewarding. I mean, from the intimate rooms to, I've played Piedmont Park Arts Festival before with, really large audience, and they're all unique.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. And again, I guess from an artist's perspective, it's difficult because of the COVID. You're not able to go out and do your live piece, but and those challenges behind that, maybe even the psychological elements behind it, can have a big bearing. Your collaborations. We'll talk about who would be your ideal. Well, who would you love to collaborate with, Carol? Who's next for 2021?
Oh wow!
Can I challenge you on that one?
Well, again, I'm going back to my friendship with Reagan Whiteside and Dennis Johnson. Reagan and I talked about, collaborating on another single. And of course, she's hot. She's just, she's just an amazing player.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure we'll collaborate on another tune. And, I've talked to Paula Atherton about collaborating on a tune together. And I don't know, wherever it leads me.
Wherever it leads you. We've got someone who's jumped on. Tomoka Sachs says hi. How you going, Tomoka? Great to have you viewing today. So we're actually on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter as well, Carol. So
okay.
We've got so a big hi to everyone out there. Smooth Jazz Melbourne with Carol Albert. So live, thank you. So let's talk a little bit around just some of the chart performance. Quite impressive. Obviously, the top 20 Billboard charts. Femme Flight was number 4 in the Billboard Smooth Jazz charts. Obviously, co-produced with Paul Brown. Then entered into the Airplay Sirius XM's watercolors.
Yes.
You had Suns Out was number 5. Or got to number 5, Smooth Jazz Top 20. Number 3, Radio Wave, and number 2, the Groove Jazz charts. So quite an impressive lineup, of things of your music getting out there into the charts. Just to name a few, and I think there's a lot more.
Yeah.
So what's the big one? Where do we go to? Where does Carol Albert?
Again, I think that I am just grateful that I've been able to be a professional musician and have that really be my profession, full time. Where it leads, I don't know. I feel very satisfied and very rewarded, with all the opportunities I've had and the people I've worked with. And I want to just keep evolving. I want to keep writing. I want to keep working, with other artists. I want to keep performing. And if I ever got, a Grammy award, that would be like amazing and the bomb. But, it's rewarding just to have people that send me little private notes and say, how much my music meant to them. I mean, that's really means a lot to me. I get notes from people a lot that say, we can't tell, telling me their story and how much it meant to hear my music. And I think that I got more response from Stronger Now than I did any other song that I've ever put out. I got so many notes and so many letters and just personal testimonies about, kind of just what they were going through. And that really meant a lot to me. So whether it's number 1 on Billboard or Grammy Award, or if it's a personal note, it feels equally satisfying.
Look, absolutely correct. And music touches people in different ways, yeah? So let's move over to Fly Away Butterfly, the album, 10 songs on that, I think 8 original tracks that you wrote. Is that right? And it's got a bit of a Brazilian feel, or, it would be fair to say sort of a bossa sort of sound.
Well, going back to Europe, hate to keep going back there, but again, I've been just thinking about it all day. So we're back to Europe again. When I was traveling around in Europe, I had learned that it was one of my favorite tunes. And so I played it all the time. I mean, it was just, it was always everyone's favorite. It goes all the way back to the 60s, and Sergio Mendes. And so when I was in Costa Rica, I heard a different version of Mas Canada. And it's like, wow, I had forgotten about that because I hadn't played it in a while. It's like, I'm going to redo that because it just made me feel so happy at that time. It made me feel like, and people were dancing where I was in Costa Rica. And it's like, I'm going to redo it because it makes you feel happy. It's just happy music. And so that's why I redid Mas Canada.
Yeah. Let's play it shortly. But watching the video or watching you perform that, you're just having so much fun, and it
was a blast.
Absolute blast. And I understand and I feel that love and energy that, you want to go out there and go live again, as soon as possible, but to be able to do that.
And actually the players that I had on the album were from Brazil.
Wow.
And there's the bass player, his name is Chocolate. His name is Chocolate. He's from Brazil. He's a fabulous bass player, just so much fun. I had Sander Pinheiro play guitar, and he really kind of helped me with little enunciations on that as well. And Raphael, sorry, I have too many names running around in my mind, but he, Rafa, has played with so many people all over the world, and he played with Janae Murray and from Atlanta, and has just recorded music all over the world. But they really brought the true, authentic Brazilian feel to it. And so I'm sorry, my dog's barking in the background.
That's right. Adds to the flavor.
What they're barking at. Sorry about that. It's
clip it out. It is live. It's excusable, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to Masquerade Donata. Is that how I pronounce it? Did I do that right?
Yes.
Carol Albert on the Smooth.
Silence my dogs while you do that.
We'll be back after this.
Hey, I want to mention, as I was looking at that, Darren English, the trumpet player, is from South Africa, and extreme talent, has his own albums, has all kinds of awards. And one of the background singers who performed and also sang on the studio album, Alfreda Gerald, is famous in her own right. She was a background singer for Yanni. She's been all over the world and background singers for so many different people and done albums of her own. So I had some incredible talent on that.
Oh, amazing. Absolutely amazing. And again, you had so much fun.
I did.
What a treat. Oh, what a blast. Absolutely.
It was really fun. Miss it.
Yeah.
Can I say that again?
Coming soon. Coming soon. You're funny. Who did you listen to today, Carol Albert?
Who did I listen to today?
Yep.
Today I didn't listen to anyone. Today, it was I went walking with my dogs, and it was sometimes I don't listen to music. Sometimes I just have silence, and that kind of helps me to think about other new tunes. I did think about some new tunes in my mind, but I didn't listen, physically to anything else.
What do you do? So you hear a tune or a couple of tunes, whatever. What do you do? Make some notes and then you construct, or what's your thinking process? How does that all work when you're composing?
A lot of times the music just comes in my mind. I've had it different ways. I'll be driving and I think about a song and I'll like pull over and like make a note. It's like, oh, I've got to write that down. Or I dream music. My grandmother used to dream music.
Wow.
She would get up and play it the next morning. And I have actually Love Again was a tune that I actually dreamed. I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's like, I can't make myself go to, but I went down to the piano at 4 o'clock in the morning and turned on my voice memo and recorded it. And if I don't do that, then I forget about it. And so I do a lot of different things. I'd come up with pieces. I'll come up with an entire song just out of nowhere, when I'm walking, when I'm just, different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. So Love Again's second track from the Stronger Now album.
Right.
So the current, we will talk shortly about Perfect Sunday, which we'll play a little bit later. But what's 2021 look like for you? I mean, you've got a couple of gigs coming up, obviously. We talked about festivals.
Hopefully 2021 is getting out of the house. I mean, I can only hope. 2021, I think a lot of people are looking forward to 2021 as a renewal, and 2020 has been, very much a learning for all of us, and hopefully we're coming out of it, stronger. 2021, I have some shows scheduled and performing and working on some new music. And, working on, again, just hopefully going back to life, I mean, I've enjoyed parts of staying home and being locked down. And part of it, I mean, I've worked in my garden but after a while, and I've written some things, but after a while, we need people. We need that interaction. As an artist, I need interaction and feedback just musically. And I love, meeting people.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, so I think we all do.
2021, that's what I hope it's about.
Absolutely.
Ask the question, so
it's a start.
That's my honest answer.
Okay, all right. Noted. All right. Nishad Seth, beautiful track. He enjoyed that one. Thank you, Nishad. Great to have you on this show. Thank you. And it's a Smooth Live show where we meet the artists, we meet the music, and meet the smooth. And that's how I've titled it. And we're with Carol Albert, which we're really fortunate to have you on this Saturday evening. I think it's So they're late. So I'm going to start winding down, I think, or winding up, however you want to put it. Breaking it down. It's a segment I have, Carol. And also, here we go. I need to bring up this name as well. Heidi Tan says hello as well. And she says, hi, Carol. So thanks, Heidi, for coming on. It's great to have you on there as well. As I mentioned, the segment where we it's a one-liner per an artist or whoever that person is. You give me a one-liner response. Okay, now it could be. I hope it's not too, positive or negative or whatever. But Paul Brown,
talented producer, fun guy. Just it has to be one sentence.
Yeah, one sentence.
Incredible talent, fun, great producer, great guitar player.
Okay, cool. Al Jarreau,
my hero.
Hero. He's great, amazing, absolutely amazing. Elton John.
Again, my hero. True. I worship his songs and ability and study his music. Just
fantastic. That was good. You've done well. Tick on that one there.
Oh gosh, don't make it too hard.
I love it. Usually, depends on. Again, it's all about just responding to obviously some very, I guess, what you call important people in your life. Heidi Tan says Joe Cool says so much good things about you. Carol?
And Joe Cool is a very good friend of mine. He lives in Rochester, New York. He has a radio show in Rochester, and been a great supporter and just been a very good friend. And we talk about music. And
yeah, it's great. That's awesome. So it's just some socials. I'll pull them back up. So just in regards to your music, Carol, how can we get some people who are viewing your show today go over there and purchase your music?
My website, www.carolalbertmusic.com. I have all the social links from my website. I'm on Instagram, Carol Albert Music, Twitter, Carol Albert Music, Facebook. I have a personal page and an artist page. Carol Albert Official is my artist page. Would love for you to follow me. And YouTube, Carol Albert Music. So nice. I need subscribers as well. Subscribe to SmoothJazz.Melbourne and Paul, and subscribe to my channel. I will post the YouTube video, and you can also subscribe to Paul's channel as well, which he'll put up at the end of the video. So yeah. It's all about social media. So
it is, isn't it? And
send me, go to my website, subscribe to my website, send me a note, and would love to hear from everybody. Absolutely.
They're coming in strong now. So Warren A. Keller. Carol is a tremendous talent. Thanks, Warren.
Thank you, Warren.
You know Warren from Spontaneous Groove and Combustion. We interviewed Warren a few weeks back. It was sensational.
Okay.
Certainly very talented artist. And H. Allen sounds great, Carol. So.
Oh, H. H has a great track right now. Bam. Okay. Bam.
Okay. And also Heidi's hi H. Allen. So fantastic. That's great. Yeah, so socials, thank you so much for promoting that as well. Yeah, jump on and subscribe and be part of the journey. And it's sort of
the interactive experience. And again, thank you, Paul. I mean, I haven't done a lot of live streaming. I was telling you about that earlier. So you've encouraged me to branch out and do a little bit more live streaming. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate your feedback and your kind of encouraging me to do that. So
absolutely. I want to ask this studio in Atlanta, Silent Sound Studios Atlanta, it's quite prolific for some reason. What is it?
Yes, Silent Sound Studios is I worked with Tom TK Kidd. He has worked, I mean, this studio, he's gotten Grammys, he's produced people that I want to embarrass myself to try to tell you who they are because I'm terrible with names, first of all, as you can see, but I have a good memory for musical things, but with names, it's not so good. But he has the piano, this Yamaha C7 that used to be at Doppler Studios, and this piano has been graced with Elton John. It's been graced with, I mean, again, I don't want to go into names. I'm going to embarrass myself, but so many famous people, it just ekes of like, you just feel the energy from this piano. And it was a real pleasure to work with Tom in Silent Sound Studios in Atlanta.
Yeah, wow. It's amazing. Certainly great, a part of your journey, or many people's journey, I'm sure, but to be able to, play or construct on something that's so instrumental, to artists, to musicians. So, well done. That's amazing. I want to talk about really quickly Perfect Sunday, and we keep getting people come through. So, H. Allen, let's cover a Van Halen song, Carol. So, you locked that in or what?
Well, H, I saw that you did Stairway to Heaven, H, and on my morning music, I did my own little arrangement of piano solo Stairway to Heaven, and there's a story behind that if you have time. I was playing a lot of different venues, and I was doing like piano music. I was doing, all sorts of different venues, and there was always the guy that would come up and say, "Hey, can you play Stairway to Heaven?" And I'd kind of like, go like this. And finally,
no.
you know what? I am going to learn a solo version of Stairway to Heaven, and no one's ever going to say that to me again. I'm going to be embarrassed. So when I did, everyone just kind of like, wow, you played Stairway to Heaven at solo piano. And I got so much feedback from doing that on my solo piano morning music. And still people listen to that. It's just like, one of those stories of why you do a song.
Yeah, you should play it now.
Next time. Okay, Paul, we'll come back. I promise you, we'll come back and I'll play for you live. Let's make a deal.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's great. I'm excited about that. I'm excited. Perfect Sunday. Just before we go and we play that, it's been amazing having you on the show, Smooth Live Show. Can I just put out there, what would you say to some young artists that are starting out in the industry and, they're following, say, the path of Carol Albert, or, give it 2 pointers. What would you give these young artists today?
Work hard, study.
Work hard and study. Geez, that's hard work. Yeah, work hard and study. Yep. It's without a doubt, for sure. All right. Yeah, perfect. Last words from Carol Albert before we go.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm so excited to be in Australia virtually. And thank you, Paul, for having me on the show and allowing me to just go off the rails. And
yeah, it's fun.
Look forward to doing it again, and I'll play live for you. How's that?
I'm absolutely excited about that, Carol. Thank you so much. So Perfect Sunday, which is from your current album, Stronger Now, which is your current release single. We're going to play that. I'm going to share up that screen there. You'll be able to watch this on all of our socials at SmoothJazz.Melbourne, and also jump over to my channel, go over to Carol's channel as well, and support the music and buy the music as well, and get behind the artist. But can I just say, I'm just so enthralled, about your music, and it's a pleasure playing your music here in Melbourne. So Melbourne, Australia.
Paul.
So
thank you.
All the best, and let's go with this track. Perfect Sunday.
All right.
Thanks, Carol.